Today on Forbes, Trump Taco Tracker. Here are the president's 28 tariff flip-flops. The months since President Donald Trump's April so-called Liberation Day tariff announcement have been defined by the constant reversals, with Trump's decision to extend his tariff pause until August just the latest in a long string of about-faces, defended by some as negotiating genius and ridiculed by others as sowing chaos and uncertainty. Trump's frequent flip-flopping on tariffs, especially after the markets get spooked, has earned him the nickname of, quote, Taco Trump on Wall Street, which stands for Trump always chickens out. Here's a list of the first 10 flip-flops of 28 total so far. All of these 10 happened within the first month. Flip-flop number 1. On April 2nd, Trump formally rolled out his Liberation Day tariff policy at the White House, imposing sweeping tariffs on nearly all countries, and reversing course on earlier pledges he made about them, exempting, quote, copper, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, lumber articles, certain critical minerals, and energy products, despite the White House previously claiming there would be no carve-outs. Flip-flop number 2. The final Liberation Day tariffs also weren't fully, quote, reciprocal tariffs that matched the rate each country charges for U.S. imports, as Trump had promised. The president instead said, quote, the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal because, quote, it would have been tough for a lot of countries and we didn't want to do that. Flip-flop number 3. After promising the tariff rates would be calculated using a sophisticated formula based on both existing tariffs and non-tariff barriers with each country, experts determined the final Liberation Day rates were instead calculated by just dividing a country's trade surplus with the U.S. by its export value. Flip-flop number 4. On April 3rd, hours after Trump's trade advisor Peter Navarro claimed on CNBC the administration's tariff rates were, quote, not a negotiation, Trump told reporters he was open to making deals with other countries, quote, as long as they're giving us something that's good. Flip-flop number 5. From April 4th to 7th, Trump and his advisors offered shifting views over whether or not the administration was open to negotiating tariff rates with other countries, with the president saying on Truth Social that his tariffs, in all caps, quote, will never change, shortly before advisors suggested other countries were reaching out to begin trade talks. The president later claimed April 7th that, quote, both can be true, and, quote, there can be permanent tariffs and there can also be negotiations. Flip-flop number 6. On April 9th, Trump unexpectedly paused the worst of his Liberation Day tariffs for 90 days, just hours after they took effect and caused the stock market to plunge, keeping only a baseline 10% rate and higher Chinese tariffs in place, despite previously claiming he would not delay the tariffs. Flip-flop number 7. Trump also almost immediately contradicted claims by his advisors that delaying the tariffs was his plan all along, as the president told reporters he only made the decision that morning after, quote, people were jumping a little bit out of line and, quote, getting yippy. Flip-flop number 8. On April 11th, U.S. Customs and Border Protection issued guidance exempting smartphones, computers, and other electronic devices from the tariffs, despite repeated claims from Trump and advisors like Howard Lutnick that they wanted that manufacturing to move to the U.S. Flip-flop number 9. On April 13th, Trump then denied there was any exemption on electronics, claiming on Truth Social, quote, there was no tariff exception announced on Friday, and that the tariffs on smartphones and other goods are, quote, just moving to a different tariff bucket. This, even as others in his administration had already described the guidance as an exemption. Flip-flop number 10. On April 22nd, after previously claiming he was, quote, comfortable with the 145% tariff rate he imposed on Chinese imports, Trump told reporters he was planning to lower that number, saying he didn't want to play, quote, hardball with China, and the rate would, quote, come down substantially, but it won't be zero. For full coverage and to see the rest of the 28 Trump tariff flip-flops up until now, check out Allison Durkee's piece on forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.